All right. So, kind of continuing along with the chakra journey that we've been on, and oh, it's just such a beautiful thing, right? To kind of sense our energy body. And we're going to do a little bit of meditation today, a little bit of restoratives today, a little bit of chanting today. When we get to the crown chakra, which is what today's class is all about, the seventh chakra, the crown chakra, Sahasrara chakra. That word, Sahasrara, means thousand or thousands. And the symbol for the crown chakra is a thousand petal lotus. And, the symbolism of it is that when we open up this thousand petal lotus, we kind of realize spiritual enlightenment. And there's this sense of deep connection to the divine. So this chakra is, our crown chakra is the bridge between our physical natures and our spiritual nature. And, just like the third eye, there's a lot about expanding perception and the sense of connection to each other, to all beings everywhere, to our spiritual world, to our sense of spirituality, to our connection to all things. So it doesn't really matter what your views or sense, feelings about spirituality are. If you connect to something higher than yourself, this is where, in the chakra system, where this connection lies, like the Atman, the highest self. It's also a state of consciousness, like becoming fully aware, and kind of residing in that awareness. So when we feel this chakra open, we have a little bit more capacity for being positive, having gratitude and a sense of acceptance, feeling the rising tide of compassion within us, sensing the unity of all things. Also a sense of purpose, like why are we here and what is our purpose here on the planet, and kind of connecting to your sense of purpose. And also there's a sense of mental stability, mood stability. The pineal gland controls our melatonin production, and so this chakra can be associated with better sleep, and increased vitality, increased energy. And it's also a sense of being open to new ideas. If you think of all these petals kind of opening up, that we're available for whatever we can become aware of. When we have, kind of a blockage in this chakra, we have all these things kind of like in the reverse. We have a sense of disconnection to all things. We can get low energy and depression. We can have sleep challenges. We can have headaches. We can have a decreased sense of focus or attention or direction, or a sense of decreased confusion around our sense of purpose. So also, we can have a sensitivity to light and to sound where we get irritated by light and sound. So, of course, we want to have this part of our energy body awakened and free and flowing well. And in our yoga practice, as always, all yoga, all of the limbs of yoga, not even just the asana practice, but the pranayama and the meditation and the pratyahara, kind of removing from the extreme not connection, but the extreme of reliance on our senses, our outward senses, and kind of toning them down and tuning inward. um, all of these limbs of yoga, the yamas, the niyamas, can lead us toward an opening in our crown chakra and an alignment and flow and opening through all of our chakras. So, of course, all asanas that we do support the energy flow in our body, our prana maya kosha, our prana body. But particularly similar to the ones we did with the third eye, you want to invert, you want to have a sense of connection to the brain. So we can do some restorative postures to help us feel that sense of surrender and capacity to let go and open. And then, of course, meditation, where we kind of reside in that removal from the senses, the pratyahara, and the concentration and sense of awareness of present moment. So all of these things can support us in opening up the chakras. So I know that we talked about doing a mantra meditation, not just a meditation, but like a bija mantra, where bija just means sound, seed sound, or like sounding out seed syllables. And each of the chakras have a seed syllable attached to them. And I just read a study this morning about how the default mode network in your brain. I don't know if you've heard of the default mode network, but it's getting a lot of heightened, I don't know, interest lately in relationship to low dose psychedelic therapy. So when things like psilocybin and LSD, there's been some low dose uh, studies around low dose of this and how it suppresses the default mode network, which is kind of like our ego attachment and our sense of planning, kind of planning for the future and attaching to self, just to self, to a sense of ego. And when we suppress the default mode network a little bit, and this is what these drugs do, but we can do it without drugs. We can do it with seed, with bija mantra, to have a slight suppression so we can let go of the ego and kind of have a sense of connection to the divine. So all chakras have a color and a sound associated with them, and this is a sense of vibration, that we're working with vibration, and sound and color have vibration, and the energy centers of our body are associated with vibrations. So the sounds, we're going to do this together later. We talked about this last week, but that, when I'm recording, I want to make sure for all of your privacy that you don't end up on the recordings. So I'm going to sound them out in the beginning of the practice. And then when we're finished, I'm going to turn off the recording, but continue our practice after Shavasana, where I'll invite you all to kind of join me, and we'll do these sound mantras again, and I'll guide you through it so that we can chant together. Chanting is challenging for me. I don't feel comfortable kind of singing in front of other people, so bear with me as we do some of these sound vibrations at the beginning of our practice. Okay. All right, so I want to start with the Gayatri mantra. If you've not heard this mantra, I'm going to read a translation by my teacher, Donna Fari, that she has written about the Gayatri mantra. So I'm going to read the translation and then chant it, and then read the translation again as we begin. Okay. And then we'll do some sound, or I'll do some sounding. Feel free to join me at any moment, but I'm not going to turn I'm going to keep you all muted until the very end of practice, and we'll do it together. Okay, so find a comfortable seat, sit up straight and tall, and come into a comfortable position and close your eyes. And just bring yourself home to yourself. So this is called the Gayatri mantra. I'm going to give you the English translation first, and then I'll chant it, and then I'll repeat the English translation. So just absorb this. Everything on earth, in between and above, is arising from one ever renewable source. If my thoughts, words, and deeds reflected this complete understanding of unity, I would be the peace that I am seeking this moment. So that's the translation of the Gayatri Mudra. And here it is. Om Bhur Suvah Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona prachodayat. Om Bhuvasuvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Everything on the earth, in between and above, is arising from one ever renewable source. If my thoughts, words, and deeds reflected this complete understanding of unity, I would be the peace that I am seeking in this moment. All right, so as you connect into the alignment of your spine and the sensing of these energy chakras in our body, maybe you can share the vibration with your hands and touch the area of your body with your hands as I sound out these different sounds. I'm going to do it 3 times, so if you want to join me at any point, you can. So all of them end with okay, and they have a different consonant in the front of Okay, so to start with the root chakra, the center of stability. Lam. And then moving up to the second chakra, the sense of creativity and flow. Vam. And to our solar plexus, that third chakra, the center of will and personal power. Ram. Moving up to Anahata, the heart chakra, the center of love and compassion. Yam. Moving up to Vishuddha, this throat chakra, the center of our cleansing, purification, communication, expression. Hum. And then up to Arna chakra, this third eye, the center of our perception and our intuition. Om. And the crown, and this beautiful state of the silence, the Turina, where we let the rippling effect of sound through our body emanate out through this 1,000-petal lotus and connect us to all, the unity of all things. Okay, now I'll go through the sounds twice more without kind of talking about the chakras. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om. Just sense the vibration in your body. Join me if you'd like. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om. Connect into your breath and sense into the vibrations through your chakras. Relax what you can. And as you feel your crown rise and open, sense into that state of flow and surrender in your body. Letting your shoulders relax, your legs relax, a sense of weightedness and groundedness, balanced with the sense of spaciousness and ease. Let your breath permeate all. When you are ready, bring your hands to your heart and let's feel, don't bow, keep the crown lifting upward and sense into the desire to know and touch this state of unity of all beings and to connect with our highest selves, with our spirituality, with our sense of connection to the divine. Let your crown relax, feel a sense of openness, and offer some gratitude for whatever's coming, whatever's in your thoughts or in your energy, in your body. Just offer the sense of openness and gratitude. And then when you're ready, release your hands. And let's find our way onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out, our practice will be fairly gentle today. We're going to warm up and just move our bodies a bit. And then we're going to do some restorative postures, a couple of supported inversions. Okay, so let's just feel that sense of openness in your body. Stretch your right and stretch your left and enjoy what it feels like to have space and openness. And then draw your knees into your chest and kind of soften here a little bit. Let your head relax. Relax your eyes. And then feel your way into some movement, moving your knees, kind of rolling your knees in one direction and rolling your knees in another. Just sensing into your sacrum. Let's open up the hip joints now, knees away from the midline and back in. Sense into what's available in the hip joints here today. All right, right knee into your chest, left leg on the ground. And feel some movement of your ankles, wiggling your toes and feeling the freedom come alive in your feet. Big breath here. And then squeeze the other knee in, stretching your right leg long on the ground, left knee to chest. Keep moving around in your feet and enjoy. Wiggling the toes, relaxing your head. And then stretch and reach outward in the body. Big breaths here, extending open. Exhale, knees into your chest. Give a little hug. Again, opening up big and wide. Exhale, drawing in knees to chest. Relax your head back down onto the ground, feet on the ground, arms stretched out to the sides. And let's windshield wiper our knees and say hi to the movement of our spine here. Turn your head in opposition of your knees. And then a little deeper twist. Scoot your hips over right, lift your knees, drop them left. Hold on to your knees with your hand. Turn your head to the right, open across your chest, and find your breath. And then come back to center. Scoot your hips over to the left, knees come up, drop them right. Twisting open here. Turn your head to the left. Relax your shoulders, breathe deeply. All right, and then open your body out to a star on the ground. Wiggle your wrists, open up and close your fists, wiggle your fingers. Do the same with your ankles and your toes. And feel a big openness in the body. When your next exhale comes, draw your knees in, pick up your head. Okay, and one more time. Open big to a star on the in-breath. And as your exhale comes, draw your knees in. Roll to your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. So as we find all fours, start to move your spine. Enjoy feeling the arching of your spine, the rounding of your spine, and just enjoy the movement. See if you can imagine the chakras running through the center line of your energy body so that you have this vertical access that can expand in all directions. Find your breath. And then wag your tail or move around in your shoulders, wiggle your hips, give some any kind of movement that you want to kind of warm up and wake up the spine. And then we'll stretch back to a child's pose and take your arms far out in front of you and drop your hips down toward the ground. Open up through your ribs. Walk the hands over to one side or the other. So we can begin to stretch our shoulders and our rib cage here. Big breaths. Take advantage of all the space to breathe into. And then come back to center and walk the hands over the other way. Feeling a groundedness through your hips. Open up through the rib cage. Relax the base of the skull. And then come back to center. Let's find a twist here. Reach one arm up in the air. Exhale, drop that shoulder down, twisting to the side. Let your head relax. Let your eyes relax. Soften the base of the skull and feel the twisting of the spine. All right, then inhale, reach that arm back up in the air. Hand down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm lifting high. Exhale, drop that shoulder under. Breathing deeply here. Feeling that twist in the body. Relax your neck, relax your eyes. All right. Inhale, reach that arm back up in the air. Hand down onto the ground. And let's find a dog pose. As you lift up and lengthen in your body, feel your legs start to wake up through the rest of you. We can pedal your feet. Feel a deep sense of ground where you're connecting with the earth. Pause your breath and just explore opening up the body, feeling a sense of sensation everywhere. And then as you're ready, root to rise, get a little more still and feel your connection to the ground. Relax and melt through your skull. Feel free to bobble your head around. Feel your roots. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, a deep forward fold. Relax your neck. Maybe a little shimming in your head or your tail or your ribs. Any kind of movement that helps you be nurtured, supported. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through the crown. Feel the femur bones draw back, shoulders away from the ears. Feel that long spine. Again, opening up the energy bodies through that center axis of our being. And then exhale and melt. Fold again. Relax your neck. Push through your feet, rising up. Bring the arms to the sky, maybe leaning back a little bit. And let's cactus open the arms, say hi to the back body. Give it a good squeeze back there. And then exhale, round and chin to chest. Take your fists out in front of you. Round your spine, stretch your back. Interlace your fingers. And then rise up, index fingers pointing up to the sky. Open your heart. Put your crown right between your, or put your ears right between your arms so that your crown is lifting straight up toward the sky. Reach upward, let go of your hands and open them a little wider. Imagine that crown chakra lengthening, broadening, expanding, the 1,000-petal lotus opening. And then exhale and float forward. Relax your head downward. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through your spine. Exhale to melt and fold. One more time, a halfway lift. Feel that center axis lengthening. Exhale and release. Let's step all the way back to a dog pose. Again, feel that reaching and length in your body. Femur bones up and back, ground hands and feet, connect to the earth and rebound. How's your breathing? Find it again and again. Come forward into a plank. Ground yourself, shoulders away from the ears. Feel the pushing of the ground away. Full breaths here. And then we'll find the ground when you're ready. Come to the earth, belly down, shoulders do a little bit of movement, and then inhale for a cobra pose, open chest. Exhale, melting back down again. One more time, rising up. Exhale, coming back down. Come back to a child's pose. Rest your forehead on the ground, and if you can't reach the ground, grab a block to rest your forearm on a block. So, find that sense of your forehead feeling support, whether it's with a block or the ground. Surrender. Remember this crown, even though our forehead is much touching the ground, we're surrendering. We're giving that sense of I'm surrendering to a higher power, that I am in the flow of consciousness, that I can increase my sense of awareness of what's within and around me. All right, and lift up to a dog pose again when you're ready. Feel that reaching through your body. Yield, root to rise, open yourself up. And then we'll walk our feet forward one more time, Uttanasana. Grab your blocks so that you can find that halfway lift and feel that vertical access again in your body. Crown lengthening, tail lengthening, everything in between spacious. Bring yourself into your breath. Open up the bottom of your feet and spread your feet really wide. And then we'll release our head back down, bend your knees, push through your feet, rising up. One more time, interlace your fingers over your head, lengthen through your side bodies, and then release your hands and open them wide. Kind of symbolically, open your hands to the heavens and just sense into that unity of all things. And if we can really understand our connection, let go of our small self, our sense of ego, and connect with this unity of all things. What changes within you in those moments when you feel that? Relax your hands. Interlace your hands. behind your back. Open up through your chest. You can always do this with the strap if you need. Between your hands, bend your knees and stretch your shoulders as you lean forward. Uttanasana again with your arms behind your back. Hands are interlaced or coming onto a strap. Relax your neck. And then release your hands. Come to a halfway lift again. Extending your spine. Exhale and melt. Let's take our right foot in front. Our left foot is in the back. Come to a lunge. Okay. Open up through your heart. And we'll go and bend and straighten the front knee here. Link to your breathing. Link your movements to your breath. Find that sense of vinyasa flow where we're moving in the flow of our breath, moving in the flow of our energy. Right, we'll put the back knee down onto the ground. Open up your hip flexor of that back leg. Just enjoy this spaciousness. We're going to come to a twist in this position. So rising up with your left arm. Let's bring your left arm, forearm, or elbow to your right thigh and twist. Open up your breath. All right, come back down. We're going to lift our back knee up off the ground. Find a lunge. Rising up again, arms wide perhaps, or straight up, whatever makes you feel like you're connecting broadly from what's within to what's without. Release your hands. Turn sideways on your mat and grab some blocks for whatever height you need to put underneath the very top of your head. So it could be that the top of your head reaches the ground. It could be that you need to put it on a block. And just kind of find your way, whatever's comfortable for you. Remember to lift your shoulders away from the ears so we're not dropping our shoulders down to the ground, but lifting them away. Breathing deeply. Unlock your knees, but legs are straight. Sit bones high, quads engaged, feet grounded. Melt through your neck. Melt the skin on your face. Feel the sense of that supported inversion. And we'll come up onto our hands. Heel toe your feet in a bit. Bend your knees and come to a wide squat. So open up your knees with your arms, just stretching those inner thighs. Drop your hips down. Release your shoulders away from the ears. Root through your feet, so feel the strength of your legs support you. All right, and then we're going to come back toward the front of your mat and find a dog pose again. That extension and length. Relax your head, so no more block underneath it, but can you melt the crown and open up the crown of your head? I always find it interesting that babies, when they're born, they're in that eternal connection to the spiritual plane. And they have an open fontanelle right at their crown chakra. It's open. The bones have not fused yet. So imagine that, that we arrive on this planet with this part of our skull vulnerable, open, available, connected. And let's come forward into a plank one more time. Push the ground away. Find the ground. Roll the shoulders a couple of times. Take a deep breath in. Open through the heart. Exhale. And relax. Come all the way up. Dog pose again. This time we'll take our left foot forward to a lunge. Back knee comes down onto the ground. Find some support here. Breathing deeply. Notice the opening of that hip flexor on this leg. Full breaths. Open your crown, open your heart. And we'll take a twist on this side. So we're reaching the right arm up. Take the forearm, elbow, or hand to your knee and twist to the left. Drop your shoulders, widen your collarbones. Feel your ribs move. Feel your shoulder blades drop down. See if you can stay connected with your inner thighs hugging in and your foot and knee pressing down. Soften your shoulders and come into the soft belly that can turn and breathe. And bring the hands back down onto the blocks. Lift your back knee up off the ground. Root your legs. And then we'll start to flow, bending and straightening the front knee. Finding your way into that fluidity of movement. Ground your feet. Root to rise. Lifting on up. Feeling that extension, maybe open through your arms. Lift your heart. Feel both the sense of ground and the sense of space. And release your hands back down. Back foot comes forward. A forward fold. You can choose to just hang here or maybe take your feet a little wider and stack some blocks to put underneath your head. Okay, so sometimes counter pressure on that crown can be a really nice thing as you invert. Shoulders lift up away from the ears. Feel that spaciousness in your neck. Full breaths here. In, full breaths out. Of course, your hamstrings are going to open up as you tip the pelvis. Engage your quads to support. Melt through your face. Right, and then grab the blocks underneath your hands. Lengthen through your spine. Heel toe your feet back into neutral. And exhale. And we'll come down onto the ground. All right. Find a block or two. We're going to take a supported bridge pose so you can be at any height, low, middle, or high that you want. If you want to go super high in this pose, make sure you stack 2 blocks underneath you instead of being on the skinny edge of the block. So we want a lot of broadness underneath our pelvis, supporting our whole pelvis, not just our sacrum. So any height is great. You decide where you want to be. So breathe your body here. Find your inhales and your exhales. Even though we're supported with our pelvis, have a little weightedness in your feet. Can you feel the 4 corners of your feet? The most important thing you do when you're in these restorative poses is to breathe.
So let's remember this crown chakra is all about surrender and connection to our higher self. So can you relax into the posture in your whole body, not just in your head, but in your whole body, in the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet? Have that quality of awareness, spaciousness, surrendering, softness. And we're going to lift the hips up now. Come down with your pelvis and relax. Windshield wiper your knees left and right. And turn your head in opposition. Draw your knees in and roll to your side. If you have a bolster, grab it. And if not, you can use some blankets. You can do this one of two ways. I'm going to have my left leg straight, right knee bent, so I'm in half virasana. And then I'm going to turn toward my bolster, which is stuck straight out from my side. And I'm going to twist over the bolster. And you can turn your head either way. Alternately, if it doesn't feel comfortable to bend your knee that deeply in half virasana, you can start with your legs straight. Do the twist. Let your hip leave the floor. Twist your belly so that you're on that bolster with your torso, and then you can bend your right knee. Okay, so we're turning to the left, however is comfortable for you. So you need some pillows, a bolster, or some blankets to stack up underneath you. And remember, you can turn your head either direction, whichever is comfortable. Try to surrender on to the bolster where you're really letting go. Breathing deeply. Lift up and find your way out of this pose and come to the second side. Move your stack of blankets, pillows, or your bolster over to your right leg. It's coming out perpendicular from your right hip. Bend your left knee, or start with your leg straight and then bend your knee once you're twisted. We'll let the hip leave the floor, left hip leaves. Turn your belly so that you're in a twist as you come down onto the bolster. Turn your head either way, whichever pathway is comfortable for your neck. A twist over a bolster, feel that connection of the ground, that connection of your front body being supported. Melt what you can. Surrender through your neck. Relax your chest on the floor. Feeling your way into a state of softness, surrender. When you're ready to come back up, move the block or bolster out of there, and we're gonna come into rabbit pose. So knees together. We're gonna come onto the top of our head, curl your toes under, and just hold on to your ankles. Crown of your head coming down and resting, finding breath. And sit up in Virasana for a moment, sit on your heels or on a block. Just have a moment to experience the length of your spine. That center long axis where the chakras reside, and then expand in all directions from this center axis. Grab your blankets or your bolster. We're going to come into a supported pigeon pose. Right leg in front first. I usually do this on a blanket, but today I'm gonna choose a bolster and just see what happens with a different height underneath me. Lengthen through your spine and remember to rest your head, forehead on the block. And you can put the block on any height that's needed. You can also put the block down or just have your elbows on the block or on the ground with your forehead resting in your palms. So however your body moves in this pose is great. Remember the forehead resting. Soften the shoulders. Open up into the breath and open up into the hips. This is preparing our pelvis for Supta Baddha Konasana, which we'll do next. So just see what you can do to surrender into the openness of your hip. We'll come out of that pose, switching sides. So bring your other leg forward and switch to have your right leg back. Your left leg is in front now. Support underneath your pelvis in whichever way you want. I'm on a bolster. Maybe you're on a block or a blanket. But make sure you feel supported so that you can very much rest in this pose. As you come down, let the head soften onto the block or onto your hands, however you're supporting, make sure your head feels supported. Release your shoulders away from the ears. Square up the pelvis. Make any little adjustments you need to. And then surrender into the pose. All right, let's come up and out of this pose, and we'll prepare for Supta Baddha Konasana. And then you can do this any way you love to do this. You could do this while you're on the ground with your back and your feet are up on a bolster. So here's one way. You can do this with the bolster underneath your back, you know, where you create a little ramp with your blocks. You can have heart bench with the blocks, you know, where you have one higher, one lower. And then if you want to put a blanket over that, you can, or a bolster over that, and come into the pose with a little more support. You can take blankets underneath your knees. You could lie on the bolsters or flat on the ground and do it this way, and just have blocks or blankets underneath your knees to support the posture. So kind of find whatever propping you want to do. You can also do this pose with absolutely nothing and just lie down on the ground and put two fists underneath your outer legs, so that just find the support that you want or need today, and let yourself relax into the posture. Your arms can be down, you can interlace your arms and bring them up. You can do anything at all that feels spacious, comfortable, and free. Once you're supported the way you'd like to be supported, just come into that state of opening and see if you can sense all your energy chakras here right now. You know, your root chakra, Muladhara. See if you can travel up. Maybe you can even put your hands on your low belly or in your solar plexus. You know, all of the ways up from the root to the crown. Breathe into this openness. Surrender into the openness.
When you feel ready to transition to Shavasana, you can. You can also stay right here and do Shavasana like this. So however you're comfortable in your body. As if you are transitioning to Shavasana, maybe you want some props for that to put your legs up on a bolster, however is supportive to you. Okay, so as you come into your bit of rest, the deep rest, this is such a place where the whole goal of this pose is to surrender and let go. So give yourself over to that feeling. Let your body get heavy and relaxed. Can you feel the weight of your head drop? And when you feel ready, you can move about in your ankles or your toes. Let's stretch, move, and breathe. So ground yourself. Again, coming into a comfortable seat when you're ready. Come on up. Take your time. This would be a wonderful place to begin a meditation. We're going to end the recording now and move into some chanting. But if you are watching this on the recording, this would be a wonderful place to just turn me off and just come to a seated meditation for as long as you'd like. Let's bring our hands together at our heart and feel once again those intentions of the Gayatri mantra. Everything on the earth, in between and above, is arising from one ever renewable source. If my thoughts, words, and deeds reflected this complete understanding of unity, I would be the peace I am seeking in this moment. So offer this outward. Namaste.